Effort. I think it started with Mitch Berger's kickoffs and field position. When the team's got to go 80 yards, it's very difficult. Special teams play, I think we are at our best, really good fight, good battle. We played excellent run defense, and we got some pressure on the quarterback. I think anytime you hold a team to 14 points, you're playing pretty good defense. It's also a combination of what you do with your offense. We made some big plays, had some tough penalties and some tough situations, but I don't think our guys ever lost their poise. And that can be very discouraging. I think when you make a big play and you get a penalty, a flag goes down, and ones that I think people will be debating by Wednesday or Thursday, I think it makes it difficult. But our guys held on to their poise and kept on playing. A good win for us, it really was. I think the crowd was into it. This was clearly, I think, the most dominant Viking crowd in a Packer-Viking game. You know, I mean, we all understand that in the past there might be 62 or 63,000, but many times it had to be 15, 20, 25,000 Packer fans in here cheering for the crowd and trying to do the best they can for the ball club. This time we had a little bit more control, and I think that's kind of where we've evolved to as far as our fans really holding on to the tickets, wanting to get in the house and see the game being played. We feel really good about it. Clearly a situation where we got to start getting our treatments tonight. We knew that we had a 4 out of 5 game schedule, October and November. That was going to be very difficult. And now we're faced with back-to-back Sunday, Thursday, which is also going to be difficult. It's nothing new. We're not surprised by it. And health-wise, we might have a guy like Stalin who could be back, Dwayne Butler, a couple of guys that were close to being ready. They might be ready in a couple of days. We're going to have to get our bodies healed up, get out in the community tomorrow, do a great job on Thanksgiving. We're all very fortunate. In fact, we're the luckiest guys in the world. And then from there, get ready to hit the road and play a very good Dallas team down in Texas. Any questions?
You talked about the game last night a little bit, the best 2 games of the year, both against the Packers and especially...
Well, as we said before, I mean, we have to use our system the way we want to. We have great passion for our system. Great passion for our system, and we have great passion for the players that we have. And so there are some games where, you know, we will allow people to double Randy and do some things with Randy, and we don't work to get him open because he will take what we want him to take, and then we can get the ball to some other players. And there are other games when you set out to make sure that he gets his singled up. And this was a game. The big games, you have to do that. That's clear. Randy, because of the fact that we had the lead, because of the fact that they had to blitz, because of the fact that they lost one of their cornerbacks, they had to play a little bit more base, they had less flexibility because of that, and so Randy got some singled up coverage. I think that the comments about Randy being kind of a one-dimensional player that some people have made around the league is really not fair. He does what we ask him to do. Randy can run any route that there is. That was clear-cut today. He can run outs, hooks, catch and run with the ball, and he can also go deep. So he is a kind of a multi-dimensional player, along with Chris Carter. It gives us quite a tandem working together on the same side. Of course, Jake normally works on the opposite side. What was that question? Excuse me?
How do you think McDonald plays when you're nickel?
Ramos was solid. I mean, clearly, they didn't make any big plays, and that's the key thing. The front has to take care of what they're doing, get pressure. Ramos went out for his first start, did a solid job. Anthony Bass had his first one. We had a couple of guys that have we've been moving guys up, and it was a solid effort. They didn't get that much yardage, and when you hold them to 14 points and you win the game, that's the number one objective.
Then you're essentially 4 games up and 5 to go. Do you feel like Central champions at this point?
I'm not thinking about it. I'll be honest with you. I think that's not our objective. Our objective was to take our phases as we approach them. This is the last game of the third phase. Then we've got 4 games, with some people that we're not that familiar with the exception of Chicago. And then the playoff season starts. Clearly, we'll probably be in the playoffs, but we're not thinking about anything except trying to get as much as we can get with the players that we've got here right now.
Again, you last game, big plays over the top. You think one of the a little more what they were getting?
Well, we made some big plays, but they got called back. I think that we were patient enough, but we had, quite a bit of yardage that was called back. But I think you just have to be able to work what they can get. They played a lot of base people because they didn't have the defensive backs. As you know, they've got a roster with 3 cornerbacks and 6 safeties. You know what I mean? And so if you got a lot of safeties, it's a little bit more difficult to play the man coverage when we go 3 wide receivers. And one of the corners got hurt, so that made it even more difficult.
Danny, some of your players after the game talking about how confident they feel knowing what Randy Moss can do. How confident are you in what Randy Moss can do?
Oh, I'm very confident. Randy has known his role from the day we drafted him. When I talked to Randy on the telephone, he knew the role that he would play, and he plays that role very well. I think our guys have seen him play and compete. He's never missed practice. He practices every day, and they've seen him make catches, so they know what Randy can do. We hope we know what all our guys can do, to be honest with you. We hope we don't have surprises, and I think that's just part of our game.
Second week in a row, Jimmy Hitchcock comes up with a big play.
Jimmy's very smart, analyzes things very quickly, picked what he thought was an opportunity to make a drive on the ball. He was confident that was a play that was going to be run during that situation under those circumstances, so he had a great jump on the ball. And that comes from studying and studying and studying and working hard in practice and getting a good feel for the opponent.
You would have beaten these guys decisively twice, and they would have been defending champions. I understand you played the games, but how important is it to you and your guys to establish that over
all we like is the fact that we're 10-1. I'll be honest with you. We're not thinking about those other things. We got one agenda. Our agenda is to beat the team that you play next. Now, clearly, this is a rival. This was rival weekend. There's no doubt about that. All the great rivals: USC, UCLA, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio State. Florida State. I think. For us to be playing Green Bay this weekend, I think we're very fortunate because everybody can relate to what's taking place, during a college game, and I think this is right. There aren't a lot of these type of rivals where, border, all these Wisconsin fans living in Minnesota and all the Minnesota fans living in Wisconsin, that whole thing. And so it was a good, solid game. But all we're really thinking about is the 10 wins and trying to figure out how quickly we can get ourselves back to get win number 11.
Then as a guy who likes watching good football, are you looking forward to watching Randy Moss be on centers?
Well, I'd say this. I think that Randy will do better as a result of, better during this game as a result of the battles he had with Darrell Green. So in other words, however he plays, we'll say that he's going to play better than he would have had he not played Darrell Green. Because I think Darrell is one of the great warriors in the game. He's a clear-cut Hall of Fame player, still on the top of his game, one of the fast guys in the game, and him and Randy went at it tooth and nail, a lot. And I think as a result of that, Randy learned a lot, and I think that he still, of course, has a lot to learn, but he'll go out and fight that battle. Randy's a great competitor. Remember, he represents his generation. He's 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? He represents his generation, and he comes. We don't get a lot of guys like it. We get a lot of guys like this in basketball. That come in and can just do things instantly. The time they set foot on the court, and because of sometimes height and because of the way they play the game. But there aren't many guys like Randy that come into the game right away and just say, okay, I'm here and I can make things happen.
Danny, one of the things on offense is that if things aren't quite working, it seems they have patience to just hang in there and again today, right?
Right, that's the poise I think that Randall Cunningham and confidence and calmness that Randall Cunningham brings to him. He had to scramble today, and he did. He had to make some plays. He made some plays, made some excellent throws, and I think that's the poise that you have to have. You know, you can't get yourself too excited. And, you know, clearly, I mean, Randall was a gift to us. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're talking about a guy that had been out of the game and left the game and probably vowed he'd never played a game of football again. And all of a sudden, he sees that the game is a great game, and he still has a great love for the game, and then he comes to the right team, which we think we are. We don't think there's another team in the league that would have been better for Randall Cunningham than us. That's the kind of talent we have in our program. So then we get this gift, and then we know how to utilize this gift, and he knows how to work with it, and all of a sudden, we got a guy that's on a torrid pace of the National Football League who's putting up MVP-type numbers, and the best number is 10-1.
Any other injuries?
No, I think we're right. You know, Jake Reed had some cramping. Orlando Thomas had some cramping. It doesn't appear that anybody else had a serious injury.
Test it out real quick, lad.
Just 1, 2, check. Check. Today's upset for the Packers.
Try that again.
Check 1, 2, test, check.
Oh.
Budweiser is the king of beers. Enjoy
I don't know about that.
Coca-Cola.
Okay, anytime you're ready.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1. After today's upset for Green Bay, it appears as if the Packers will... Okay, wait.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute.
1.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, you can stop rolling.
All right.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have... Bleh.
You got better hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have defeated the Packers. What am I saying?
Bringing them to their knees.
Bringing them to their knees.
You want me to like move around and stuff?
Yeah.
Walk around when
Yep.
you're talking. Hopefully I don't trip over the cord.
How come I can't say it right? I don't know. For the second time this season, the Vikings have upped me before. Tony's like, what a ditz.
No.
Rolling?
Rolling.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have upset the Packers, bringing them one step closer to the NFC Central title and clinching a playoff position. From the Metrodome, Jodi Grayson, News 6 Sports. Ah! Is that good?
I'm not gonna walk around and seem kind of dumb.
You don't really win an NFC sense. We probably know enough as like one of the fans in this film.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season's in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have upset the Packers, bringing them one step closer to the NFC Central. I can't.
I'm retarded. I'm so tired.
This one's gonna be it. Ready?
All right, rock.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have upset the Packers, bringing them one step closer to clinching the NFC Central. From the Metrodome, Jodi Grayson, News 6 Sports.
I think you said seasons.
Yeah, you did.
Otherwise, perfect.
It's gonna say so. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. For the second time this season, the Vikings have upset the Packers, bringing them one step closer to clinching the NFC Central. From the Metrodome, Jodi Grayson, News 6 Sports.
Nope. This big.
Yahtzee.
Okay. Oh, let me practice. This victory over the Packers brings the Vikings one step closer to clinching the NFC Central. And with New Orleans' loss, it guarantees them a spot in the playoffs.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, that was perfect.
We weren't rolling. Okay, we going?
Actually, I was rolling.
You were not.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, we'll do it again. In 3, 2, 1. This victory over the Packers brings the Vikings one step closer to clinching the NFC Central. And with New Orleans' loss, the Vikings are guaranteed a playoff spot. From the Metrodome, Jodi, Grayson, News 6 Sports.